Fox Sports.
We are Black. We are Minnesota.
A sun-soaked evening in downtown Minneapolis. Picture-perfect weather for Major League Baseball. And a sizable crowd continues to file into Target Field tonight to take their first look at their team in the month of June. Start of a 10-game homestand begins this weekend series against Tampa Bay. Joe Mauer has made a habit of ripping up the Rays in his career. He's hit almost 400 against Tampa Bay the past couple seasons. Evan Longoria, similar history against the Twins. This season he's tied for the team lead in home runs with 9 along with 26 RBI. Always been a threat at Target Field. Surprise start tonight for Phil Hughes, who takes the place of Kyle Gibson, still on the DL with back stiffness. Matt Moore, the left-handed flamethrower, takes the mound for the Rays. We welcome you to Twins Baseball on Fox Sports North. Let's get this series set up for the Twins and Rays. First of 4 this weekend. Like the Twins, the Rays remain at the bottom of their division, but they've shown signs of late. They have no intention of staying there. In the last 18 games, their offense has been on the rise. 93 runs in that span, an average of 5 a game, the second most in the American League. 2 words strike fear into the minds of most Tampa pitchers. Joe Mauer, Twins All-Star, enjoying his best season in years at the plate, but the truth is, Mauer's always matched against the Rays. His career .369 average, the highest of any Tampa opponent since 2004. Other than Mauer and Eduardo Nunez, the Twins' biggest hit this past week is the addition of Robbie Grossman. Coming up, Dick Kramer, Jack Morris discuss how Hughes can fill the void for the Twins tonight. Phil Hughes, a surprise start in place of Kyle Gibson, who remains on the DL.
Twins Baseball on Fox Sports North is presented by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us.
Phil Hughes, cutter.
I like his cutter.
I think that's because I face him so much.
I never could hit when he was with the Yankees. He's got one of the best rising fastballs in the game.
Another guy, once he's on the mound, he's all business and he's ready to go.
Like I always say, he never stops throwing strikes. Everything he throws is for a strike. So he's going to come in and either you hit him or you get a hit or he's going to get you out. And that's kind of the way I like it. He doesn't really nibble around the zone. He comes right after you.
A few days ago, the Twins banished Phil Hughes to the bullpen in the hopes that he would make his return to the starting rotation, and he will make that return here tonight already. It's his normal night to pitch 5 days after his last start, and he will start the opener against the Tampa Bay Rays. Dick Bremer, Jack Morris with you for the opener. The Twins had planned on activating Kyle Gibson and moving him into Hughes' spot in the rotation. Gibson had a bad back, a lower back issue, so Hughes is back in there tonight.
Yeah, Phil gets another chance, and I think you could talk about the entire starting staff in a work in progress. Phil Hughes still trying to find the mojo he had going a few years ago. These are some of the better pitches he's thrown this year, where he's commanded his pitches inside the strikeout, and then we're going to take a look at some of the hanging balls that he's been whacked around with. Phil Hughes is a guy that's got to throw all his pitches. He's got to use his off speed and his breaking ball more than anything else. I think he's got to start commanding the pitch inside. He's always middle half away, up and down in the zone, but never coming in and backing guys off. A lot of hitters are pretty comfortable about him. There's his last 5 starts. You see low innings total, and he's going to try to get his second win here from tonight for the 8th try at it.
Twins could really use a big lift from Phil Hughes here tonight. He'll be taking on a Tampa lineup that hits the ball over the fence a lot. We'll see what happens in the series opener coming up next. Phil Hughes will lead the Twins onto the field here as the Twins hope to get this long homestand started on the right foot using the right arm of Phil Hughes to hopefully recapture some magic from a couple of years ago.
Well, that's just it. Phil's going to make another attempt out there tonight and try to earn his way back, I should say, into this rotation. He was summoned to the bullpen, but because of the injury to Kyle Gibson, And he's going out there with a new look. Maybe a little superstitious, but wearing the high pants, high socks today, so maybe that'll change his luck.
Hughes was notified last night that he'd be making the start here today, so he was able to prepare in advance of this start. Kevin Cash, the manager for the Rays, they got off to a good start this year, but they've struggled pretty much across the board. They are second in the American League in home runs hit, second to the Seattle Mariners. Now think about that while I give you the lineup for the Menards lineup for the Tampa Bay Rays. Brandon Guyer, Brad Miller, Evan Longoria, Logan Morrison, Steven Souza Jr., Corey Dickerson, Mikey Matuk, Taylor Motter, and Kurt Casale.
Phil Hughes making his 11th start this year. This is his 8th attempt to win his second game. He last won on April 18th, so it's been a while since Phil Hughes had a good winning outing.
Northland Ford defense for the Twins. Robbie Grossman's become a fixture in left field. Byron Buxton in center. Max Kepler in right. Luke Nunez, Dozier, Mauer, the infielder, Suzuki behind the plate, and we're underway. First pitch popped up behind first. It'll be chased by Mauer, Kepler, and Mauer with the catch. One pitch, one out. And Phil Hughes will take all of those he can get.
Can't be any more efficient than that.
See the umpires, Ted Barrett behind the plate, Lance Barksdale, Angel Hernandez, and Will Little on the bases. This is a Tampa Bay team. We talked about the power and the home runs that they hit. They also strike out a lot. It's been one of the issues, though, for Phil. His inability to strike people out at the rate he did a couple years ago when he was such a success. There's a first pitch strike.
Well, he's always been a guy to throw the ball across the plate. We listened to his catcher, Kurt Suzuki, talk about the fact that he's going to challenge you in the zone. And the real question is, will he be able to command the pitches around the perimeter of the middle of the zone? That's where he's been hurt too many times.
5 starts in May, an unsightly 7.43 earned run average, 0-3 in 23 innings. He only struck out 9 batters. Outside, and it's 1-2. His April numbers weren't good, but they were a lot better than they morphed into in May. 1-2 to Miller. High and fairly deep to left center field, and Grossman with the catch, 2 away. And that'll bring up Longoria. Tonight's Cold Hard Facts brought to you by the Silver Bullet Clean Crisp Coors Light. Most runs scored since May 14th in the American League. And the Rays are on the list, or as Bert would say, on the chart. If you're on the same chart offensively with the Red Sox, you must be doing something right.
Well, they're in the same division, so they have to be on the same chart.
Got to compete with them somehow. 2 down, and here's Evan Longoria. And a first pitch strike.
As you listen to my partner here talk about the opening lineup for the Rays, this is the one name you might recognize. He's been with this organization for quite some time, kind of the mainstay in the face of the franchise.
1-1. Fouled away. It's a remarkable lineup, an injury depleted lineup for the Rays. They have 72 home runs hit, and nobody has more than 9. So you think of Longoria, well, he's got 9, but then so does Souza and Dickerson and some others.
Yeah, they're definitely a team that's banged up. They've got 4 guys on the DL that have been placed there in the last 20 days.
Fly ball right field. Retreating is Kepler. On the edge of the track, makes the catch. 3 fly ball outs and a quick 1-2-3 inning for Phil Hughes. Absolutely beautiful evening for baseball. When we were in here before getting our lineups done, birds were singing. I mean, it was just idyllic. Paul Molitor hoping that this long stretch of home games, 17 home games out of 20 games, will help get this season turned around in the right direction a little bit. Menards batting order for the Twins: Eduardo Nunez, Joe Mauer, Brian Dozier, Trevor Plouffe, Robbie Grossman, Byung Ho Park, Max Kepler, Kurt Suzuki, and Byron Buxton.
And the Twins will be facing left-hander Matt Moore. He's making his 11th start. Got a 2-3 record. ERA is a little high, but this guy is one of the hardest throwing left-handers in the game of baseball. He's averaging about 92.3 miles per hour on his fastball.
Nunez, Mauer, and Dozier in the first. And Nunez takes strike one. Twins haven't seen much left-handed pitching, but Moore is their third straight left-handed starter that they faced. Faced a couple of them in the Oakland series at the end, and now Moore tonight. Driven to right field. And Geyer retreating, still going back, and leaping the ball off his glove, rolling to the corner. Nunez flies around second, on his way to third, and they're going to wave him around. Nunez will score to start the ball game.
How about that? Gene Glenn just said, you know what, they're not going to get the ball home in time, keep running. And Eduardo Nunez smiling all the way in there. Quite a way to start the ball game. Sun might have played a little into, factored into that play a little bit. The right fielder for the Rays maybe got the ball. It was Brandon Geyer out there.
And they give Nunez an inside the park home run. Geyer got the glove on it, but is in unfamiliarity with playing right field here, and the overhang and everything that came with it allowed him to not make the catch, and then looked like he had a hard time figuring out where the ball rolled on the warning track all the way to the corner.
Yeah, when that ball clanked off his glove, I think the sun was right in his eyes, and he really didn't have a good idea where it went. And once he found that it was going over towards the corner, Nunez was already circling second base.
Here's Mauer. Foul ball. Now he takes ball one, 1-1.
We showed you the graph for Joe Mauer and what he's done against left-hand, or what he's done here this year in his career against the Tampa Bay Rays. One of his best teams to hit against. And when you couple that with the fact that today's starter, Matt Moore, is allowed left-handed hitters to hit .327 this year, 18 for 55. It should be a good night for Joe.
Foul back still 1-2. You saw the Toyota Key stat. Mauer hitting at a .369 clip against the Rays. Tops all time. Nunez with the 50th inside the park home run in 55.5 years, so it's a rarity in Twins history, less than one per year. And now 1-2 to Mauer. Another foul back.
Well, with that run from Eduardo Nunez, leadoff home run, Phil Hughes will take the mound for the first time in a while with a lead early in the game.
Usually it's been the other way around.
And to pitch as effectively as he did in the first inning. There's a good breaking ball there. Let's take another look at that inside the park home run from Eduardo Nunez. See the ball's outer half about belt high, and he just goes with it. Geyer there just takes his eye off the ball a little bit. Let's watch Nunez run. His eyes light up right about there when he sees that he misses the ball, and his helmet flies off, surprisingly. And Gene Glenn just keeps waving him around. Fun to watch.
Brian Dozier taking a strike. During yesterday's telecast, we showed Ron Washington hitting an inside the park home run back in his playing days at the Metrodome, and now Nunez gets one. One strike to Dozier. And now off the plate, 1-1. 2-1.
Quite a difference on how opposing pitchers are pitching Brian Dozier. A year ago, they would be very hesitant to try to push him off the plate at all on the inner half.
High fly, short left field. And Dickerson coming in. It's the shortstop Miller making the catch right up the foul line. A fair ball catch. And out number 2. Northland Ford defense for the Rays. Kevin Kiermaier's hurt. Some other key players for them are banged up. So it's Dickerson in left, Matuk in center, Brandon Guyer in right, Longoria the anchor at third, Miller and Maher up the middle, Morrison at first, and Kurt Casale behind the plate. And Guyer squinting a little bit, looking into the sun.
No glasses on.
Strike 1. Trevor Plouffe, the batter, hitting in a cleanup spot. Chop foul, 0-2.
The issue for Matt Moore this year has not been so much his arm strength or velocity. That's been renewed after spending a little more than a year from Tommy John surgery. He did pitch last year a few games after coming back from Tommy John surgery, but the velocity is there this year. It's his command that's been the issue for him. Locating his pitches, both his fastball and breaking ball, and getting ahead. Boy, we talk about that a lot, but there's another example of a guy that was an all-star at one time and a dominant pitcher who's been struggling a little bit because of his location.
Pop up near first base, crossing the line is Morrison. And he makes the catch. A rousing start to the game, the series, and the homestand. Eduardo Nunez with an inside the park home run, and the Twins lead 1-0. Home run, and the Twins have a 1-0 lead. Phil Hughes got 3 fly ball outs, and now Logan Morrison will lead off the second. First pitch fouled back. Morrison, Souza, and Dickerson to hit here in the second. Twins made some news the other day when they announced that Phil Hughes, despite his history, his success, his contract, all of that, he would be sent to the bullpen to make room for Kyle Gibson. Well, Gibson has been reporting some lower back issues, sciatica. If you've ever had it, you know how troublesome it can be. Apparently, at least anatomically, one would think unrelated to his shoulder issue, although everything is, you know, pitchers are well-oiled machines. We know that, right? And one thing is
some of them need a little oil, apparently.
At any rate, things are interconnected in the human body, but this is about as far away from a right shoulder as you could get.
Well, go ahead.
Just missing the outside corner 2-2.
It's really going to be a change of events for Kyle Gibson. You know, this might have been an opportunity for him to get into the rotation and hopefully with a good outing stick in the rotation, but it could change his season completely around with maybe a start now in Rochester, and who knows where it goes from there.
You can put someone on a rehab assignment for 20 days, but if you assign them to a minor league team, well, then as long as they have options left, you can leave them there as long as you'd like.
Well, and he does have options left, and the real point it being that he's going to have to pitch well at AAA to get back up into this rotation, because Phil Hughes having a good first inning, you know, they want him in the rotation. The idea was never to put him in the bullpen.
A leadoff walk after Hughes got ahead of Morrison 0-2. Let's check in with Kevin Gorg.
Yeah, sticking on the subject with Kyle Gibson, Paul Molitor said it's really a strange situation where the bullpen sessions have been good, including today 40 pitches for Kyle Gibson, and he reportedly felt very good, guys. It's in between starts. The hardest thing for him right now with that back/shoulder is the sitting down, whether it's in the car or in the dugout. And Paul Molitor hinted that the next spot you likely see Kyle Gibson pitch a baseball game is AAA Rochester. They're really thinking it's going to be a short-term situation, and Molitor expressed the fact that he really looked good today and felt good in that bullpen session.
On the right field line, it'll reach the seats.
Not to be the devil's advocate, Gorgie, there, but seen a lot of guys that were Babe Ruth in batting practice. I can personally testify that I threw at least 40 no-hitters in the bullpen, and they don't matter. What matters is what happens right now, and that's what Phil Hughes needs to do.
Steven Souza Jr., the designated hitter, first pitch fouled off. Hughes usually pretty stingy with walks. A leadoff walk. Now a liner to left, and Grossman with a diving catch in the corner. Robbie Grossman with a fine catch toward the foul line for out number 1.
Robbie Grossman had a good approach to this ball. He got a good read and a good jump, ran right to it. He needed to, because this ball, if it got by him, was going to be extra bases. Maybe the runner from first scores, but gets a good read, takes a chance, and makes a really nice running catch there to save a possible run.
One down with a runner at first, and now Corey Dickerson. He's played outfield credibly. He's a major league outfielder, and he's been good out there. There's a off-speed pitch missing. But where Grossman's really energized the Twins has been in the batter's boxes, right or left. 1-0 to Dickerson. One of the reasons the Twins made the switch, sending Hughes to the bullpen and then ostensibly inserting Gibson into the rotation, depth. And by depth, I mean the amount of innings they could count on Phil Hughes giving them as a starter. And he was coming up short in that regard with in the month of May, a 2-inning start, 4 innings. The infamous game in Detroit where he had a shutout through 6, but only got one more out after that. Then 4 2/3 innings in Seattle. 1-0 to Dickerson, and another throw to first. And ultimately, it was that very concern that made the Twins put Hughes back in the rotation, because with Gibson and his bad lower back, they had no assurance that he'd be able to go out there and give them 1 inning, but maybe have trouble in the second and have to come out.
Well, I think all along the game plan was, when Kyle Gibson was ready to return off the DL, that he was going to be given a spot in the rotation again. That was the plan originally. He was one of the original starters to start the season. But the fact that Pat Dean has pitched so well out there and really deserved more starts, and Tyler Duffy has done a good job since his return. Both have had clunkers here in their last recent outings, but when they decided to put Phil in the bullpen, those two guys had both pitched well enough to stay in the rotation. So all of those things factored in to why he was demoted to the bullpen, but getting another opportunity tonight because of the Kyle Gibson situation.
Now, he was never made a relief appearance, but 2 days ago in Oakland, he did take the mound down there and have kind of a mini bullpen session, and I would guess he threw 20-25 pitches. And I asked him afterwards what that was all about, and he said, well, just to get on the mound and, you know, a little muscle memory, and there was never any intent on bringing him into the game. They just wanted to get him some work, and so that whim that led them to do that has, the hope is, kept Hughes fairly sharp for the substitute start here tonight. 2-2 to Dickerson.
Well, let's hope that Phil Hughes complicates the whole issue by having a good game here tonight, because they want him in this rotation.
On the left field line, and Grossman crosses the foul line, covers that one easily. Out number 2. 5 outs, 5 fly ball outs. A leadoff walk here in the second. So far, no damage done. Here's the Sanford Health injury report. Logan Forsythe, their really good hitter in 29 games. Look at the numbers he had put up. And the guy they really missed defensively is Kevin Kiermaier. He's a really good center fielder, and I think he brings an awful lot of energy to the whole lineup.
Gold Glove winner out in center fielder last year for Tampa Bay Rays. Kevin Cash has got his own set of issues with this team right now.
2 down, runner still at first, and here is Matuk. Matuk, a utility player playing out in center field. Desmond Jennings has not performed well out there.
Looking at today's lineup, the Twins have 5 guys in the lineup, all hitting under 212. The Rays have 4 guys, and they're the bottom 4 hitters in the lineup, Matuk being one of them. Granted, some of them haven't had a lot of at-bats, but needless to say, it's a different time in baseball where you can survive with batting averages hovering around the Mendoza line.
1-1 to Matuk. On the outside corner. Pitches like that. Now that looked like it was the cutter at 90, and it hit the outside corner. 2 years ago, Hughes was so good. Well, that might have been the straight fastball on the outside corner, but he could pitch the ball exactly where he wanted to.
I think when you lose a little velocity with your fastball, it affects how much your cutter breaks. We've seen that with Phil Hughes. His cutter isn't quite as crisp. It doesn't move quite as much late and have as much break. Now there's a good one right there.
Matuk strikes out. Hughes pitches around the leadoff walk. Got a little help from his left fielder Robbie Grossman, catching a line drive, and Grossman will lead off the bottom of the inning. Lead off the home half of the second inning. Time now for the mini Let's Motor player profile, and tonight we focus on Robbie Grossman, drafted by the Pirates 8 years ago, signed by the Twins in the middle of May, was playing in the Cleveland Indian organization. Born in San Diego, now makes his home in Houston. And I think when the Twins brought him up, Jack, they were just hoping to get some consistency in one of the outfield spots. And not only has he been consistent, he's been consistently good, which is a bonus.
You know, that's why people can roll their eyes all the time, anytime they want, when they're fans, and we're both guilty of that at times, I'm sure. You know, you hear of a guy or don't know anything about a guy, and you say, oh boy, here's another player that the Twins picked up, and you know, where's he from, blah blah blah. But when it's all said and done, it gives a guy an opportunity, and he's grasped that opportunity and done a great job so far with taking it. I mean, Paul Molitor cannot keep him out of the lineup. He's a switch hitter. Like you said, he does an adequate job defensively and has just been a huge plus offensively for this Twins team.
2-2. Park and Kepler will follow. Dribbled foul. I checked with Robbie, and he has a home in Houston. Houston's got some flooding issues again, and he said no, he's where he's at, he'll be okay. Played for the Astros for parts of 3 years. Hey, what's not to like a switch hitter? No one expects him to hit 359 all year long, but he's given the Twins professional at bats on a consistent basis.
Well, I think that really stands out for this Twins team, especially we watched the offense early, swinging out of the zone so many times and wasting at bats, taking good pitches that are right down the middle and then swinging at pitches that are out of the zone. This guy came in and he had a good idea, a good game plan. Things have worked out for him, that's no question, but you know, the fact that he has a good approach is something that could rub off on everybody else.
Checked his swing. It's strike 3. Now Casali has to throw. He throws low, dug out by Morrison for the first out.
Thought that might have been a foul tip, but apparently not.
One down, and Grossman alertly scampered down the line, and he forced a low throw.
Oh, he missed it by a long ways.
One away, and that brings up Byung-Ho Park. Talking with Paul Molitor about Park and his issues, and a week and a half ago the phrase that the manager used was he's being caught in between as he tries to adjust to more velocity here. He's having problems on the top end and the low end, being caught in between. But then Paul said too, he thought, you know, he's seen some encouraging signs, and it's a question of confidence right now for Park, and 1-2 hit game might, you know, be a huge ball game for him to get his confidence back.
Well, anybody that's been around the game understands what he means by caught in between, but for me the only logical way is to eliminate one of the pitches and just look for one the entire at bat. I mean, if you don't get it, well then you can walk away and say, oh, he got me, but if you get your pitch and miss it, that's the problem. That's what differentiates guys from AAA and AA to the major leaguers. At least it did for decades. And you've got to be able to take command of pitches that are in your hot spot where you can handle the pitch.
93-mile-per-hour fastball got in on the trademark of the bat, a foul back. 2-2. And lifted foul, and out of play.
Matt Moore, since returning from Tommy John surgery, in 13 of his 22 starts, he's only allowed, or has only been in the game 5 innings or less 13 out of 22 times. So he's a guy that if you get to him early. He did go 6 2/3 his last
drill to center field. Going back is Matuk. That ball is off the wall and past Matuk. Park to second, and he'll hold up there.
Wise decision there, because they were ready to relay that ball. So
Geyer backed up the center fielder, a long carom from the center field fence past Matuk, and Park drills a double off the center field fence.
Yeah, Matuk had been playing Park a little bit in. I thought he had a long way to run for this ball. A lot of center fielders you would think could get to a ball. Now, it was hit high enough that bouncing off the bottom of the wall in center field, a lot of center fielders could have got to, but he must have been playing shallow to get that kind of jump. Either case, Young Hope Park will take that 8th double of the year.
Here is Max Kepler. Moore's got some pretty nasty looking reverse splits going. Left-handers are hitting him at a 327 clip, which is hard to understand. 273 from the right side, but with his stuff, lefties should not be hitting over 300 against him.
I think it's a case where he commands the inside part of the plate better to right-handers. You see that ball left out over the middle.
And Kepler barely retired at first. That's out number 2, and on the play, Park goes to third. Good play by second baseman Taylor Motta. We'll bring up Kurt Suzuki. Wine, Women, and Baseball is back in 2016. June 9th is the first date, with a limited number of special ticket packages that includes a Twins stemless wine glass and a pregame hospitality event at Lowe's Minneapolis Hotel. You can learn more at twinsbaseball.com/WWB or call 800-33-TWINS. Seems like the type of event, Jack, they would need an MC for.
Or a sommelier.
Here's Suzuki with Park at third and 2 away.
A chance for Kurt Suzuki to pick up a run. Park just 90 feet away.
Suzuki had a good ball game in Oakland. Hit the ball hard 3 times, got a couple of hits. Checked his swing and took ball 1.
Matt Moore's breaking ball is going to dive in on right-handers. That's just the nature of throwing from the left side. You saw Pat Dean, the success he's had with his breaking ball in on right-handers. I think it's sometimes easier for a guy to throw on the opposite side of his throwing arm and be successful inside. And I think you have to be successful inside in order to really dominate out there. See the numbers before Tommy John surgery. Matt Moore with 29-17, very good ERA, and since his return in 22 starts, only 5-7. So he's still trying to figure it out. But the good news is his velocity is back, his arm strength is back, and that typically takes a couple years after you return from surgery like that. Good off-speed pitch right there.
The first notable Twins pitcher to have undergone Tommy John surgery, at least from my memory, which isn't nearly what it used to be. Joe Mays, who had a phenomenal year for the Twins about 15 years ago, and then he had elbow surgery, and the velocity came back, but the command never did. And so, the neophytes, amateurs, naive people like me, they look for arm strength and they say, well, he threw 92 before, he's throwing 92 afterwards. But it's not velocity. It's the command and where you can spot the ball.
It's always been about command. I don't care if you throw 100 miles an hour. If you do not have the ability to throw it in the same spot 3 times, you're a thrower. You're not a pitcher.
Inside to Suzuki. That's 3-2.
There's a lot of guys that can throw the ball hard. There's not that many pitchers that can pitch that hard. Steven Strasburg, great pitcher for the Washington Nationals, has kind of set the barrier now. Got a long-term deal after Tommy John surgery. They believe that he's going to be strong for a long time.
Popped up behind second base. And Miller, the shortstop, makes the catch. Park hits a booming double to center, but he's left aboard, and it's still 1-0. presented by CenturyLink. Switch to CenturyLink Prism TV for an advanced TV experience. Learn more at cprismtv.com. And by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. Good start for the Twins in this extended stretch of home games with a leadoff inside the park home run by Eduardo Nunez, a 1-0 lead. And now Taylor Motter, kind of a utility player for the Rays, leading things off against Phil Hughes. Curt Casali and Brandon Guyer will follow. 1-1. Motter getting a chance to play at second base. Steve Pearce has played there for the Rays, and he's a really good hitter, but he's got a bulky elbow, and they've got to kind of be careful with that a little bit.
I'm gonna have to explain that one. That's a little over my head. Bulky. What does that mean?
It's not doing what he wants it to do, meaning propel a baseball without causing pain.
Kind of like tennis elbow or
something like that. They hope it's nothing more than that. Motter will lead off, and Casali and Guyer. You've not heard that term before, a balky elbow?
No, I haven't. I'm sorry.
I'm just glad you didn't have one.
Well, I may have. I just, when you don't know, you don't know.
Hey, I asked you before the game about in your career when you encountered the decreased velocity that Hughes seems to be dealing with. Here's a fly ball to center field. Should be an easy play for Buxton. One down, and that'll bring up Casali. And it wasn't until the very end of your career, but here's Hughes, who, when he won 16 ball games a couple of years ago, was throwing 94, 95, and he can't seem to touch that anymore. And that's if you're the pitcher and you went through it at the end of your career, you got to kind of be creative out there, don't you?
You do. And in all fairness, and I'm just relating what my experience was, when you lose velocity on one pitch, it will affect other pitches. And you know, my slider was always around 88 to 90. My fastball was 92, 94. So when my fastball started going around 90 and my slider was still about 89, didn't have the same effect.
Now, where did the splitter fit in there?
Well, unfortunately, that's about when I quit throwing the splitter, because I needed Tommy John surgery, quite honestly, and I pitched without it because I never threw my forkball again. But I had strained my elbow, and I actually went to see the Tampa Bay's probably most famous personnel, and that's their team doctor, Dr. Andrews. And he said, you need surgery if you want to throw that forkball anymore.
Blue picked it up, and then in trying to get the ball over to the throwing hand, he couldn't make the exchange, and Casali will get an infield hit.
Let's take another look at this last play. Hit to Trevor's left. And because he has to go beyond, I don't know, step whatever that rule states, that abnormal effort. But you see, the effort was there to get the ball. I don't quite understand how they make these rules, how they rule it a hit or not, because if he makes the exchange, he's got a good chance of getting out a slower runner. Either case, it'll be a base hit.
And now Brandon Guyer. Strike one.
My only recourse on this is I don't think there's a lot of official scores that ever pitched. Because if they're pitchers, they wouldn't be so lenient on hits allowed.
One strike. And now foul back. Now they do try to make it uniform from ballpark to ballpark, and the official scorers in Major League Baseball actually get together for a conference and discuss these things. It's not a job that they take lightly.
No, and by the rules, they have to give him a hit because that's abnormal effort going to his left.
Yep.
In other words, he's got to be flat-footed. The ball has to be right at him in 2 hops. And anything then he has to move on, that's abnormal effort.
And now foul back again. Still 2 strikes.
But an outfielder can run 100 yards and clank a ball that's against the wall, and that'll get him an error sometimes. You know, again, there's no consistency in my way of looking at it, but I suppose we're not going to change that, so let's move on. Greg Wong, he came into the booth here before the game, and he said, I suppose you're going to talk about me tonight, so go ahead and use my name correctly. And Wong
to the
came
gap,
agreeing with you.
And Grossman with a catch on the track. Nice play deep in the gap on the warning track, out number 2. They'll bring up Miller. Time now for greater coverage of baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. Some news and notes setting up this series. The Rays have struggled, losing 10 of their last 12. Logan Morrison's reached in 17 straight games. And Robbie Grossman, really a blessing for the Twins since they pilfered him out of the Cleveland Indian organization. And just looking at it from Grossman's standpoint now, if he had not used or threatened to use, I'm not sure whether he actually used it, his opt-out clause, given the news of yesterday regarding Marlon Byrd, suddenly the Indians need outfielders, and Robbie Grossman is property now of the Minnesota Twins.
Well, you can't look back, and that was a sad state of events there for Cleveland, losing Marlon Byrd because of PEDs.
You know, and if I can just interrupt, it is sad for the Cleveland Indians. I don't think anybody in baseball is sharing any sympathy with Marlon Byrd on this.
No, and I think Marlon Byrd realizes that his career will probably be over. He actually said that to the team, you know, and apologetically, but he made a mistake that was really going to cost him. This could be the end, and he didn't want to. He admitted he did not want it to end this way. Why would he? But then why would he do what he did?
Base hit to right field, and Kepler checks the ball back into Dozier. A 2-out single for Longoria. Or excuse me, for Miller, and now Longoria will bat. Hughes has gotten 8 outs. He's gotten 7 fly ball outs and a strikeout. He got Longoria to fly out to Kepler in the first.
All I can say is that Robbie Grossman made the decision at the time that he thought was best. It was worked out great for him, and I know he's going to be happier in Minnesota than Cleveland. I've played in both cities.
Well, he's playing every day here and has been, and that was the motivation for him to get back to the big leagues and play. And this situation here in Minnesota has been ideal for that.
He's in the lineup every day. He's healthy. He's doing a great job.
1-0 to Longoria. He was trying to pitch around a little bit of a situation here in the third. Tapped foul. 1-1.
Well, it's a big at bat for Longoria and a good opportunity for Phil Hughes to get out of the inning without allowing a run. Still holding on to that one run, that leadoff inside the park home run from Eduardo Nunez. Phil had an easy first inning, a fairly easy second inning, but giving up a couple of hits here in the third. Now he needs to work out of a jam.
And a base hit to right. Kepler's a left-handed thrower, and he'll come up firing. And the throw on a couple of hops to Mauer. The game is tied. So 3 hits in the inning and a couple of 2-out hits. And the Rays have tied it up. Runners on the corners with 2 away.
Now you see that pitch left pretty much center cut over the outer part of the plate. Longoria is the good hitter that he is, probably the best hitter in the lineup right now. Just throws his hands at the ball and ends up with a base hit to right.
And now Logan Morrison fell behind Hughes quickly 0-2 and ended up drawing a leadoff walk, but never budged from first base. And into center field. Buxton will play that on a hop. 4 hits in the inning, 3 2-out hits, and now the Rays have a 2-1 lead. Sounded like he might have cracked his bat, but Morrison with a base hit. And it's 2-1 Tampa Bay. And now Steven Souza Jr.
See this last pitch again from Phil Hughes. He tries to go in, and there's a great example of what goes wrong. You got your catcher sitting on the inside corner of the plate. Phil Hughes just has not been able to keep that ball on the inner half all year long. Ball tails out over the plate. Off the end of the bat, Morrison gets a hit and an RBI.
Fouled back, a strike.
Another pitch that's just too much of the plate. Phil Hughes, always been a strike thrower, but not being able to keep the strikes around the perimeter of the strike zone, in the strike zone, and avoid the middle.
And on the outside corner, there haven't been enough pitches like that. I was just going to say, it seemed like, of course it's an exaggeration, but it seemed like when Suzuki caught Hughes 2 years ago, he never moved his glove. he would set up and the ball was there. And we've seen, you know, Kurt and Juan Centeno and John Ryan Murphy before him. They're all moving their catchers mid all over the strike zone.
For the fan that doesn't know that much about the game and how it works, this is, I love to talk about this, but this is a great example of why things go wrong. You see where Kurt Suzuki's setting up, and then the ball's on the other side of the plate. Now, granted, it's off the end of the bat. Wasn't the greatest swing, and maybe even broke his bat. But the fact that he wasn't able to locate it in, there, two things happen when you throw it in. You get the strike that you're looking for, as he finally does strike out Souza. But you set something in the back of that hitter's mind about his next at-bat.
4 singles, a couple of runs. The Rays have the lead, but Eduardo Nunez is going to hit again in the 3rd inning. Taking a 2-1 lead, Byron Buxton, Eduardo Nunez, and Joe Mauer will hit against Matt Moore, now pitching with a lead for the first time tonight. Buxton might bunt here, and he takes inside. Showed up here earlier today to work on the bunting part of the game, the push bunt toward first baseman, the bunt along the third base line as well.
He's been working very, very hard at it, along with, well, Danny Santana before the hamstring.
To the right field corner, chased by Geyer, and he makes the catch one away. We'll bring up Eduardo Nunez, who got the series started on the right foot for the Twins with an inside the park home run.
Got a fastball away from Matt Moore. Ball was kind of clanked off the right fielder Brandon Geyer's glove. Then he couldn't quite find it. Nunez just keeps on running. Pretty excited. Hugs for everybody.
And Nunez now will hit with 1 out. Up and away, a ball. Every Thursday morning, look at Nunez given credit for the first ever Twins inside the park home run at Target Field.
That'll be a trivia question.
Yeah. 3 opponents have hit inside the Parkers here. 1-1.
That sounds like a trivia question. And I suppose you can name them all.
Peter Borges, McCann, the catcher for Detroit, drilled into right center field past a diving Motter. And Nunez has his second hit.
And he's just swinging such a hot bat, and just seeing the ball, it shows what confidence can do for a guy when he knows. And then he gets pitches that he doesn't miss. I think that's the key to good hitters, is every at bat knowing you're going to get a hittable pitch, something that you can handle. That ball was hit so hard that Motter just couldn't get to it.
And Curtis Granderson, the other opponent who hit an inside the park home run. Now Mauer. say every Thursday morning I do a radio show with Mike McFeely on WDAY up in Fargo. And the question was regarding the Twins All-Star, and I threw out Eduardo Nunez's name.
Absolutely.
By merit, he should be the All-Star.
No question.
And when you consider what his role was, perhaps even the second utility infielder behind Danny Santana, who was going to be a super utility player. I mean, it's really a remarkable story. There haven't been many good stories, positive stories for the Twins, but Nunez has emerged as perhaps an all-star player this year.
Well, we've been talking about Robbie Grossman and what his contribution's been since he's come to the Twins. Eduardo Nunez started his hitting way back in April. When he finally got in the lineup, he sat for the first week or so. He was going to be a utility guy and wasn't in the lineup, and then after several losses in a row, Paul Molitor figured, well, these guys need a break, let's throw Eduardo in there, and he hasn't stopped hitting since. It's been a very, very good year for him.
Mauern out of center. Mata comes in, and now 2 away in the inning. That'll bring up Dozier. Soup.com trivia question: who is the only Tampa Bay pitcher to win the American League Cy Young Award? Now, last year Brad Boxberger led the league in saves, but he did not win it.
Well, I think I know this.
Chris Harcher, a candidate, although he's not having the best of seasons. Dozier the batter. Nunez with some speed at first. Low throw. Morrison controlling it.
I never liked that quick throw from either a right-hander or a left-hander to first base. At least a right-hander has to turn and use his body to throw the ball. Left-handers step off and throw it underhand. Good way to hurt your arm. Very seldom do you catch a guy that way.
Pitches away, ball 1. Been saying in baseball for years that if you have a speedy runner at first and you have a wider than normal hole on the right side of the infield, that it might discourage a team from stealing a base. Look at the hole that's on the right side now, and maybe an opportunity for the Twins to send Nunez. Looked like he wanted to go, and Dozier takes a pitch up and away, 2-0.
And that's what makes so many people frustrated with Brian Dozier and his just seemingly unwillingness to try to go that way. When you've got the whole half of the infield, I mean, it's a freebie, a push bunt, and you're on. Of course, they want you to swing. I mean, I understand that, but it's not that hard when they're pitching you away to go with the pitch and just make contact on that side.
3-0 now to Dozier with Plouffe on deck. And a 4-pitch walk. Nunez didn't have to steal second. He'll walk there. And Plouffe will come up with a chance to do some damage. Rays got their 2 runs with some 2-out hitting. So Plouffe can answer for the Twins. You know, one of the great frustrations about the road trip, the Twins played pretty good baseball, swept a pretty good baseball team in Seattle. And then throughout the Oakland series, you can see a call to the bullpen. Huh, that was interesting. Moore with 48 pitches thrown. Plouffe out in front of the changeup, strike 1. Throughout the Oakland series, it seemed like every time the Twins scored a run, the A's scored at least 1 run. We'll see if the Twins can do something similar here with the Rays getting 2 in the top of this inning.
Well, every World Championship manager that I played with emphasized that to all our pitchers. Tom Kelly probably did it more than any of the other 2 that I played for, Sparky Anderson, Cito Gaston. And the fact that momentum is a huge part of this game. We score, get the boys back in the dugout as soon as possible to keep the momentum, and take that momentum away by doing such a good job. Get them in the dugout. You're taking the momentum away from the other team.
And 3 pitches. Plouffe strikes out, leaving 2 aboard. And we head to the 4th, 2-1 Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay lead.
Eduardo Nunez gets it going right away. Bottom of the 1st inning. First guy up. It's inside the park home run. Evan Longoria with a runner in scoring position. Scores. Casali scores there. And then Logan Morrison follows Longoria with a base hit of his own, scoring the 2nd run for the Tampa Bay Rays. That's where it stands right now, 2-1 Rays.
And so the Rays will hit here in the 4th inning. Corey Dickerson, Mikey Mata, and Taylor Motter.
There's some tongue twisters in the lineup. I was looking at the lineup here today, and of course, there's new names, new faces all the time in baseball.
Hughes knocks it down, recovers, fires to first, got him with Mauer making a good play, keeping his right foot on the bag. A bullet that hit, I think, nothing but leather. 1 away.
Take another look at it here. Phil Hughes having the ball come back quickly and almost catches it. You're right about just nothing but leather. And then having to get off the mound. It's as quick as I've seen Phil Hughes move in a while. Nice job from Joe Mauer there, keeping his foot on the bag and recording it out.
So 1 down quickly in the 4th, and now Mikey Mata. Just missing ball 1. And that hit the corner, 1-1.
That's a good location right there. I think that was more of a slider than his cutter, but that ball broke down and away. A good part of the outside zone. Another one follows it, back-to-back pitches right there. Too many hitters are going to be able to do anything with that pitch. See what Kurt Suzuki wants to do here with the final one. Sets up away again.
And through the hole to left.
Yeah, and that one was left right over the middle.
A 1-out single for Mata. And now Taylor Motter. Only in Minnesota can you experience the picturesque beauty of the Minneapolis chain of lakes, a true urban oasis. You can experience nature right in the city by riding the paths around the lakes or paddle across them on one of the many rentals. The chain of lakes just 10 minutes outside of downtown Minneapolis and right by Uptown, giving any visitor the chance to live the Minnesota lake life, while also experiencing the artistic and unique culture of the metropolitan area. Endless ideas for perfect getaways at exploreminnesota.com. Here is Motter, a fly to center, his first time up, and a swing and a miss. You know, I think, Jack, you can relate to this. I think sometimes as a native Minnesotan, and I've lived here in the Twin Cities for 35 years, I'm guilty of the same thing a lot of people here are guilty of, and that is taking the beauty of this metropolitan area for granted.
Yep.
visiting teams come in here, visiting broadcasters, and they talk about the chain of lakes and how wonderful it is to be so close to downtown and everything. And here we're lucky enough to come here and come to work.
Well, you look out at that beautiful sky over center field and Minnie and Paul right now, and you say to yourself, you know, it was like this every day, I'd live here.
I told Robbie Grossman that too today. I said, you know, it's just like this here in January. And he.
Temperature's not the same, but it is just like this some days.
The sky's just as blue.
Yes.
So are the tips of your ears, but one strike.
Kills the mosquitoes.
1-2. But we are really blessed to be here in such a wonderful metropolitan area.
Yeah, we could sell commercials for the state of Minnesota, I think, you and I.
Motter hit a fly ball to Buxton his first time up. He was trying to make sure nothing mounts. The Rays got a 1-out single in the third and ended up with 3 consecutive singles and 2 runs. Now a 1-out single in the fourth.
Well, the bottom of the order is what got us started for Tampa in the third inning. And now they're back to the bottom of the order again. Runner on first with a hit. Mike Matuk.
Off the plate. 1-2.
I wonder if his real name's Mike or if it's Michael. Mikey is his given name.
Okay.
I suppose we can look that up.
1-2 to Matuk. Popped up. So it was playable for Mauer and foul ground. 2 down.
Phil Hughes getting his share of pop flies here in this game.
And that'll bring up Kurt Casale. Casale hit a hot ground ball to the left of Plouffe. Plouffe gloved it but couldn't make a throw across the diamond. Busted bat. That'll drop in front of Buxton for a base hit. Matuk around second on his way to third.
Those are the kind of hits that hitters will say the bat died a hero.
First and third, 2 away. If you're a baseball fan, then you need the all-new Fox Sports app. Get highlights, interviews, injury updates, scores, instant alerts on your favorite teams and rivals. Download now in the iOS App Store, Google Play, or visit foxsports.com/app. And now suddenly another big out here with Brandon Guyer at the plate. He's hit a foul ball pop up to Mauer and a fly ball to Robbie Grossman. 2 on, 2 out to right field. It'll be chased by Kepler, and he makes the catch. A couple of singles do no damage. It's 2-1 Tampa Bay Rays, and we are very happy that we are here bringing you Twins baseball. Twins baseball on Fox Sports North is presented by Northland Ford. Visit northlandford.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today. And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. What's yours? Robbie Grossman will lead off the fourth against Matt Moore. Drilled to center field. And Grossman has his first hit. He'll round first and hold up there, and the leadoff man is on.
Another great example of a guy getting a hittable pitch and taking advantage of it, not missing that hittable pitch. You see Matt Moore tries to get a first pitch fastball. He throws it pretty much center cut, belt high, a little bit above the belt, and Robbie Grossman just simple swing, perfect greeting spot right out in front of the plate with his swing, and he's on board.
I suppose, depending on the hitter, of course, you throw a pitch like that, you're lucky to get the ball back. That ball was right there, and Grossman drilled it to center field. Now here's Park, who hit one over Matuk's head in center field for a double off the center field fence, his first time up. They seem to really be going after Park inside. He kind of crowds the plate a little bit, and almost, I guess, if you do that, you challenge a pitcher to throw it in there, but they seem to be getting him out in there.
Well, typical power hitters love to extend their arms. That's how they generate.
His hands are over the inside corner.
Right, and that's how they generate the power that they can to drive a ball. So the place to counteract that is on the inner half. If they can't get the barrel of the bat to the ball quick enough, and that's been a problem for Park, is the extra velocity that he's seeing here at the major league level compared to his years playing in Korea. It's it's an adjustment for him, and right now they're just pounding him in it until he makes the adjustment. That's where the league is going to stay with it. It's like Brian Dozier. They're staying away from Dozier right now, and he's not making the adjustment.
Now 3-0 to Park. Moore kind of lost it with Nunez at first, and 2 away in the third. He issued a 4-pitch walk to Dozier, and now he's in danger of doing it to Park. And how about that?
Yep. Well, this is kind of like you said in the open today, is the Achilles heel for Matt Moore is his command.
First and second, nobody out. Our Carsoup.com trivia question: is it David Price?
Well, that's my guess.
2012. Matt Moore finished 9th despite those numbers. Here is Kepler, hit a ground ball to second, his first time up. Squaring to bunt, and he takes ball 1.
Well, Twins playing for a run right here. I should say 2 runs, because they're trying to put 2 runners in scoring position with nobody out. And Max Kepler probably didn't convince his manager about those numbers that Matt Moore has against left-handers. They're hitting at a .327 clip, so you'd think he'd let the poor left-hander swing away.
2 hits and 17 at bats this year. Was 1 for 7 in a September call-up last year. Morrison and Motter had a brief chat about what to do in the event the bunt is dropped down. And swinging away, got a pitch up, but he fouled it back. That's the type of pitch Paul Molitor was talking about that is really eating up Young-Ho Park. He's getting pitches to hit, and in Korea, South Korea, he was hitting them, but up here he's fouling them straight back. And it looked like Kepler there got a great pitch to hit, but he didn't square it up.
You know, that's the difference between good hitters and guys that are in the big leagues. Struggling to stay in the big leagues is getting the pitch and not missing it. I mean, I don't think Eddie Murray ever missed a pitch that I threw up. I don't think Paul Molitor did. I don't think. I mean, I can name you 10 guys in the Hall of Fame. They never missed a pitch that I made a mistake on. Now, I made a lot of mistakes on other hitters that I got away with. But the difference is the good ones don't miss their pitch.
Let's see what Kepler gets on 2-1 here. Drilled to the gap in right center, and that'll run all the way to the wall. Grossman will score. Park to third. He'll be held, and Kepler with a rifle shot to the gap has tied the game.
Well, good for him. That was a hittable pitch that he did not miss. He drove the ball hard right over the second baseman's head into that right center alley. See the ball left right down the middle. And Kepler puts a good swing on that ball. Park, not the speediest guy, so third base coach Gene Glenn has to hold him up there. You want to keep the inning alive, nobody out. Now 2 runners in scoring position in a tie ball game.
Just drove in his first big league run, batted in. And now Suzuki, the infield playing about halfway in here with Park at third, Kepler at second, nobody out. Fly ball center field. Matuk coming in. There's the catch, and it's just a bluff with the ball skipping through. And Suzuki hitting a short fly ball, not deep enough to score the run, and that brings up Buxton.
Again, that was more of the speed of Byung-Ho Park at third base than it was where that ball landed. Matuk, pretty much an average arm out there. I don't think he has the greatest throwing arm, but you don't want to end the inning with an out at home, and that could have very well happened. So Gene Glenn again decides to hold Park at third base.
Well, a little bit different situation here. Buxton much more strikeout prone than Suzuki. And the infield shortening up just a little bit here with Buxton at bat. Swing and a miss. Strike one.
I think with time, and they're hoping that Byron Buxton will learn that, a little over anxious with that first pitch. You got 2 runners in scoring position. You want to help the team. You're really pressing yourself so hard to be a contributor, and then he swings at a ball that is a pitcher's pitch, down and in. If he's patient, he's probably going to get one like Kepler got, right over the middle to hit.
Inside 1-1. Just interesting how the difference in the hitter's speed has changed the infield alignment for the Rays. They're playing shorter because of Buxton being a threat to maybe drop down a push bunt toward the second baseman, Motter, and so he's shortening up a little bit at second base.
Yeah, they're playing basically in to try to keep that runner from scoring.
But they weren't playing quite that much in during Suzuki's at bat. He wasn't the threat to put it on the ground with a bunt. 2-1 now to Buxton.
Only 1 out, so they're still trying to keep the runner from third and advancing.
You want to see Buxton show more patience and become a guy who will draw walks. He's drawn 2 walks in 54 at bats this year. That's to right center field. And it's Geyer with the catch. Here comes Park. Here is the throw. Cut off, and the run will score. Buxton driving in a run. Park from third will score, and Kepler advances to third. So Kepler has an RBI, and now Buxton has one on a sacrifice fly.
Well, just the way the outfielder was making his route towards the ball, Gene Glenn had a better look at how he was setting up, whether he could make a perfect throw to home. Park got a good jump there, and Buxton happy to get an RBI there, doing his job. Twins take the lead.
And now Nunez will bat. Nunez with an inside the park home run off the glove of Geyer in right field in the first inning. Then he drilled a single up the middle in the third. Strike on the outside corner, not knowing what other hitters in the top 10 have done today or are doing. Right now, Nunez at 337. And at the start of the day, only David Ortiz, Victor Martinez, and Xander Bogaerts had a higher average in the American League.
That qualified.
That qualify, right.
Robbie Grossman's got a higher average, but
right.
Not there yet.
And for those of you who don't know, you have to, as a hitter, have 3.1 plate appearances per team game played. In other words, Grossman would never get enough plate appearances. Well, maybe at the very end of the season he would if he played every day. But it's not games that you've played, it's the games that the Twins have played in this instance. And it all needs to come up to a total of 502 plate appearances, not at bats, by season's end. 1-1 to Nunez. Foul back. 1-2.
So what you're saying is he has a chance.
Yeah, well.
And the fact that maybe a couple 17-inning games where he gets 6-7 at bats, that could help him.
Right.
Let's not go there.
You're a big fan of extra inning games.
No, I'm not. Overtime.
The highlight of your career, Jack Morris, was an extra inning game.
That was because the guys couldn't score a single run. Not because I wanted to.
Hard on the ground, but right at Motter. The inning ends, but a good inning for the Twins. A couple of runs, one driven in by Byron Buxton, but the game-tying run driven in by Max Kepler, his first big league run batted in.
Pretty swing, good to see.
In the saddle 3-2, and we are smack dab in the middle of the Minnesota State Lottery winner circle, and it's a happy birthday. That's right, the circle will be signed with a little crafty line at the bottom. She's very excited. It's Laura from St. Louis Park. You've won 100 scratch-off tickets.
Oh my gosh.
What a birthday. You got the lottery tickets. You're getting circled by Jack Morris. Your husband made the sign. What's the highlight of your night?
The Twins are going to win for me on my birthday.
I love it. She's guaranteeing a win on her birthday, and she's taking home 100 scratch-off tickets, guys, from the Minnesota State Lottery.
Grossman has problems with the ball in left field, and Miller will advance to second after his leadoff single. So the tying run in scoring position, 2 pitches into the inning. The Rays pinging the ball all over the ballpark. They've already got 7 hits against Phil Hughes.
Well, again, the ball thrown right over the middle of the plate, and then Robbie Grossman kind of clanks it out there in left field, and that allows Brad Miller, who runs very well, easily get into second base.
Longoria, the batter, he drove in a run with a single in the third. Off the plate, ball 1.
Second time now Phil Hughes has had a lead to work with. Top of 5 here at Target Field, and the next 2 guys are the guys you really got to be careful with. Longoria and Logan Morrison, the on-deck hitter, are the 2 guys that are swinging at the best for Tampa right now.
Hammer to left. and gone. A 2-run home run, and 4 pitches into the inning. The Rays are back in front by a run.
Well, I don't know if we can say it enough, but again, watch the location of this pitch for Evan Longoria. He's a guy that rarely misses his pitch. And Phil Hughes really not throwing very many curveballs at all today, not many off-speed pitches.
Eric Rasmussen on the phone. The Twins suddenly in need of some bullpen help.
Here's the pitch. The location's supposed to be out of way, but it stays right over the middle. And that's usually what happens with those hanging sliders right there.
So a lot of singles and now a home run. And Rasmussen asking whether the reliever was ready, and Phil Hughes gets through 4 innings, but then immediate trouble in the 5th, and Taylor Rogers will be the first man out of the pen for the Twins in the middle innings. Hit for hits and runs early in the first couple innings. Here tonight, he had 2 hitless innings and then 8 hits allowed in the next 2 innings plus, and he's knocked out here early in the 5th inning. A 2-run home run by Longoria, and the Rays are back in front 4-3.
I know it's got to be frustrating. Taylor Rogers coming in, making his 9th appearance out of the bullpen. It's got to be frustrating for Phil Hughes, but it's so obvious from up here, and I know it's so much different to get your feet on the dirt. Too many pitches over the middle of the plate. That's the story of his game tonight.
The very thing that made him so successful 2 years ago, never throwing it down the middle, but throwing strikes.
Right.
And he just can't seem to locate the ball.
A lot of front door, back door cutters when he was going well. His fastball was down in the zone on both quadrants. Down and away, down and in, and just too many balls that were left over the heart of the plate tonight.
And now Rogers will come in, hopefully, to pitch for a while, with the Twins getting a short start from Hughes. 1-1 to Logan Morrison. Longoria with the home run, the first Rays player to hit double digits in home runs. They've hit 73, but they've spread them out. One and 2 now to Morrison.
I think that's the ideal scenario. Spread them out, make everybody feel a part of it.
They have spread the strikeouts out pretty evenly too. A lot of strikeouts for this Rays team. 1-2 to Morrison.
Now Rogers doing a good job. They're working ahead early here. First guy, and Kurt Suzuki trying to block a ball. Nobody on base, so no harm, no foul.
You know what I don't quite understand about the trend of teams striking out at historic paces? What's the model in baseball right now in terms of a team? Who should teams emulate? There's a called third strike, a strikeout of Morrison. Who should they emulate? The Kansas City Royals.
Exactly.
And
World champions, right?
They're the team that strikes out the least. One down, and Souza will bat for the Rays. Souza with a liner to left. And he was called out on strikes in the third. Because of the home run by Longoria, the Grossman error is moot. It's an earned run. All 4 runs are earned against Phil Hughes. Outside, ball 1. Popped up short right. Kepler ranging toward the line. Makes the catch, 2 away. And that'll bring up Dickerson. Saturday, MLB returns with a game you can only see on FS1. The Rays take on the Twins at 2:30 p.m. Central. Then it's baseball night in America as the Yankees battle the Orioles for position in the AL East at 6 p.m. Central on your local Fox station, or you can watch it live on Fox Sports Go. Here's Corey Dickerson. He's 0 for 2. And a very slow breaking ball, 76 miles per hour, and a called strike.
Again, Taylor Rogers coming in and throwing strikes, working ahead in the count. Ball just off the plate right there.
Off the end of the bat, foul. Phil Hughes starting because Kyle Gibson has had some lower back issues and has kept him on the disabled list. 1-2. Popped up. Nunez, the only infielder over there near the tarp, and it's out of play.
Well, it's going to be a little bit interesting to see what transpires here in the next 5 days. They're talking. Kevin Gordon mentioned that Paul Molitor thought that Kyle Gibson might go and throw at least 1 start in Rochester at AAA, so that would mean he would not be available for 5 days from today.
There's another name out there. Tommy Malone pitched another good ball game tonight for Rochester. He'd have to be added to the roster.
Good job there by Taylor Rogers.
Rogers gets 3 outs after the Longoria home run, and the Rays are back in front by 1. He was done. Thank heavens there's not a fifth base in baseball, because Eduardo Nunez was done. Joe Mauer will lead off the fifth for the Twins, down a run against Matt Moore. Inside, ball one. Mauer is 0 for 2. Talked about left-handers hitting .327 this year against Moore.
Matt Moore has made his share of mistakes, especially to the left-handers this year, but a lot of these pitches he's thrown tonight have been over the middle of the plate. Twins have 5 hits coming into this inning.
It's got to be the greatest feeling in the world when you're pitching out there and you can throw the ball where you want to throw it.
No question. I'll tell you what, and it's the worst feeling in the world knowing you can't throw it where you want it, because you're basically throwing caution to the wind and rolling the dice, and you're hoping. And when you can throw it where you want to, you can control the game. Hitters, the greatest hitters in the world, you can make outs, because you know, if I throw it here, if I take a little off there, it's the art of pitching. But when you can't locate, you're just praying. You really are. You're just hoping that
hit it hard at somebody.
Right, that they hit it hard at somebody, because you know they're going to hit it. You have to throw it across the plate.
3-1 to Bauer. On the ground, scooped up by Morrison. And Moore covers, 1 away. That'll bring up Brian Dozier. Pepsi fan of the game here, and decked out in with Twins scalp painting and a mohawk.
That would be your new look, Dick. Not the tattoos or the eye black, just
right.
the mohawk.
I don't think they make it in my shade.
We can get one. Special order.
Here's Dozier, pulled on the ground, foul.
Talk to Corey Provis. He's good with the special orders.
If you can get Corey Provis in a mohawk.
Well, he's another candidate. He's working on one right now.
1 strike to Dozier. 0 for 1 with a walk. There's Corey on the right. How about Gladden? You think Gladden would look good in the mohawk? Kyle Hammer, the engineer, in the back row there.
In all safety to my buddy, he'd look good in anything. It doesn't matter.
1-1 to Dozier. Popped up and over the Twins dugout.
There was a pitch that a year ago Brian Dozier would have hammered. He's just not being able to take care of business with his pitch. This ball was pretty much middle of the plate, and Brian Dozier a year ago would have absolutely crushed that ball.
Dozier, one of the few Twins right-handed batters who's done well against lefties. Chop foul. Let's go through the list of right-handed batters and the Twins' futility against lefties. Dozier hitting .333 against them. Escobar switch hitter .345. Grossman switch hitter .435. But then Miguel Sano's hitting just .227. Nunez at .296, but Park hitting just .120. Kurt Suzuki .136. Danny Santana .087. Here's a drive deep down the left field line and foul.
I just think at the major league level, the good hitters, they handle righties and lefty. You know, I mean, granted, it's going to be a little harder when you were talking in the last series with Roy Smalley about hitting. Roy talks about hitting a long time. Switch hitters sometimes see left-handers very seldom compared to right-handers, but the good hitters handle anything because they have the ability to hit that one pitch that's right there. That's their pitch. And when you're struggling, it's just like pitching. We talked about, you know, when you don't command your pitches, how difficult it is. Well, as a hitter, when you're missing your pitches, you're struggling. It's not going to be easy.
Foul back, and Dozier having quite a battle with Moore here. 8th pitch coming up here. Dozier 1 for 5 with 2 walks against Moore.
81 pitches for Matt Moore at this point. Bottom of 5.
That's to left, deep to the corner. This ball is gone. A home run to tie the game. A great at bat for Dozier, ending with a game-tying home run.
Well, that time Brian Dozier did not miss his pitch. And that's kind of what we talk about. All smiles. It's got to feel good for Dozier. He's been scuffling so much, but he finally gets a ball that he can handle. And nobody's going to complain about him pulling the ball or being pull happy when he can take a pitch that's very hittable and drive it into the left field corner the way he did.
The home run hitters hug each other. And we're tied at 4. And Phil Hughes off the hook. We get a new ball game, and here's Plouffe. Missing inside, ball 1. Trevor 0 for 2.
I wish we could put together a speed little thing of all the hits that Phil Hughes gave up and all the hits that Matt Moore has given up in this game. And I bet there won't be 2 or 3 of all the hits that weren't right over the middle of the plate.
I think Nunez's home run came on a pitch up and away from him. And he drove it where it should be driven.
Went with it. Didn't try to do anything other than hit the ball hard. Now the Twins right back in this one.
Popped up center field. Matuk coming in. And he makes the catch. That's out number 2.
Let's take another look at Brian Dozier's home run. The pitch here by Matt Moore. And I don't know how you can put it any more right over the middle of the plate than that, but Brian gets the perfect swing and gets a very hittable pitch, and this time he actually hits it. Put smiles on everybody's face.
Works the other way too. Casali, you could see even from the side view, had to move his catcher's mitt. That's not where the pitch was intended to be.
No, it's supposed to be away.
Here's Grossman. Singled and scored his last time up. 1-0. He's got 2 hits.
That ball middle half in, but Grossman doing a great job right there, pulling his hands in a little bit.
It sounded like he hit it off the trademark and might have cracked his bat, but he strong enough to muscle it into left field.
Now watch how he pulls his hands in here a little bit, and that's the only way you're going to be able to barrel up the ball. And a lot of young kids call this the Derek Jeter swing because Jeter got so many hits on a swing like that. But nice job there, and Grossman stays hot. His second hit of this ball game.
Park takes one down and in, ball 1. Park with a double to straightaway center field, caroming off the padded fence in center on the fly, and then he walked and scored in the 4th.
There's Jim Hickey, the pitching coach, on the phone. There'll be some activity now in the Rays bullpen.
And Moore missing badly. It's 2-0. He walked Park on 4 pitches in the 4th inning with a runner at first. Grossman's not a big base stealing threat, and Moore's been around long enough. He shouldn't be distracted, but maybe just the mere fact of getting him to pitch from the stretch has kind of messed up his mechanics a couple times here tonight. He walked Dozier on 4 pitches with a man on first in the 3rd.
Well, it's all about damage control. He's got 2 outs, gives up a base hit, no harm, no foul if you can get the next guy. But you don't want to do what he's doing, and that's falling behind again. Young Ho Park for the 2nd time.
And a miss, 2-1.
Park might have helped him right there. That ball looked like it was down.
And off speed, and Park was out in front. Ryan Garten warming up for the Rays. It's headed up the middle. It'll bleed through. Park's got a 2-hit night. And Grossman will hold up at second base. Jack Morris is excited because June 8th is Superhero Night here at Target Field. Limited number of Superhero Theme Night ticket packages are available that include a game ticket and Twins Superhero t-shirt. For every ticket purchase, the Twins will donate a Twins Superhero cape to a child at Gillette Children's Hospital, and a portion of tickets sales will go to Gillette Specialty Healthcare. Go to twinsbaseball.com/superhero night to learn more about the superhero theme night offer. Now, I asked Roy Smalley this as you see a quick trip to the mound by Jim Hickey. When you were growing up, who was your big superhero? Who was your favorite superhero?
Harmon Killebrew.
Good answer. Good answer. And then I'll just say mine was Bob Allison.
Yeah, there you go. No, really, truly, I watch cartoons and all that stuff, but I could differentiate reality from superheroes.
Here's Kepler. Drilled a double to right center, driving in the tying run in the fourth. Here he has a chance to put the Twins in front. Off-speed pitch and strike one.
Well, Kepler got a very hittable pitch, and he did a nice job of getting his first RBI, driving the ball into the right center field gap. Let's see if he can get another pitch that he can handle and get himself another RBI.
And a floater over at 81 miles per hour, and Kepler has taken strike one and strike two.
A little different when you're ahead in the count. Now Kepler's on the defense. And as a pitcher, this is when you don't want to make a mistake. You've got two strikes. You can waste a pitch. Maybe try to get a guy to chase. See the catcher going through the signs.
That's over the Rays dugout.
Too good a pitch to throw there on that count.
Moore approaching 100 pitches. Still looking for that 15th out. Talked to Kepler today. I said, hey, look, you're here. The manager said you're going to play a lot. Any chance your parents are going to come from Germany? He said, no, they're too busy working. They're still very involved in their careers. I mean, it's not like, you know, flying from Indianapolis to San Francisco like he did, you know, just yesterday.
Right. No, we were joking about kids and, you know, that kind of thing. Well, all Max has to do is hit about 300 home runs and he'll be able to afford to have them retire and they can come follow him every game.
1-2, and an off-speed pitch froze him and clipped the inside corner. The Twins get the game tied on a Brian Dozier home run just over the wall and left, and we have a 4-4 game after 5. A tie game as we head to the 6th. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. You can watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. It includes a free subscription to @Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Now Taylor Rogers in a tie game, pitching to Mikey Matuk, then Taylor Motter and Kurt Casale, the 7, 8, and 9 batters for the Rays. Sharply hit, but it skips on the second hop to Dozier. 1 away.
Get a chance, let's take a look at Phil Hughes and his effort tonight. All the pitches that are right down the middle. And I think if Phil really takes a look at some of this video, which he will, he'll realize why he had problems. That one right there was the one mistake that really wasn't over the heart of the plate. But most of these balls that were hit hard off Phil Hughes are right down the middle. And when Phil was going good a year ago, it was not so much that ball right down the middle. Taylor Rogers, by the way, is doing a great job in relief here. 2 quick outs.
Yeah. And now the #9 batter, Kurt Casale, who's already got a couple of hits for the Rays, both singles. Swing and a miss. High fly to right center field. It's into the twilight. And Kepler's able to keep his eyes on it, makes the catch. And a very quick 1, 2, 3, 6 for Taylor Rogers. Time now for tonight's Quicken Loans Rocket Arms. And the team leaders in strikeouts. Chris Archer still striking out a lot of guys. 776 on the season. Ricky Nolasco leading the Twins with 53.
Chris Archer not having the kind of year that he's kind of expected to have, but this is a different ball club that's all banged up. And just not having the same kind of start.
And the Twins in the 6th inning will send up Suzuki, Buxton, and Nunez. Suzuki 0 for 2, a pop to short and a fly to center. Buxton 0 for 1 with a sacrifice fly.
You see that Ramirez has been used quite often here for the Tampa Bay Rays. This is his 22nd appearance already. Pretty decent ERA out of the pen, 3.29. Good strikeout to walk ratio. I don't know if you saw that.
Off the plate, ball 1 to Suzuki. Rays bullpen dealt a blow. We've been waiting for Brad Boxberger, their outstanding closer from a year ago, to come back. There's a ball hit on the ground and past a diving Miller, and Suzuki's aboard, leading off the 6th.
Well, there's where a shift to the one side actually backfires, because Suzuki hits it right where the shortstop normally would be playing. So Kurt Suzuki on board for the leadoff base hit.
The Twins flex plan gives you the flexibility to choose your games and your number of seats. You can choose in advance, even the day of the game. So don't plan, flex plan. Go to twinsbaseball.com/flex or call 800-33-TWINS to learn more. Here's Buxton. The Twins can be a little creative here. Suzuki has decent speed for a catcher. I hate to use that term, but he does run okay, and Buxton might be asked to put the ball down on a bunt here. And he bunts it, and it hit him in the batter's box or outside. And now Ted Barrett is saying it was in the batter's box, and he's making the call himself.
Yep.
And so it's just a strike.
It's a dead ball if it hits him in the batter's box. And I think that's exactly what happened. Buxton's left foot is still in the box. And you can see he's clearly still in the batter's box. But that appeared to me more like a drag bunt than a sacrifice bunt. The difference is with Byron Buxton's speed, if he gets it down, you're trying to move the runner over. That's your primary job. And he still might get a base hit if he just makes contact out in front of the plate with the bat.
Just outside, 1-1.
Roy Smalley was talking about how Miguel Sano is just starting to realize his power. Paul Molitor talking about. Well, Buxton has to know that his speed is special, and that just by making a bunt in a proper area, it doesn't have to be perfect. You aren't necessarily up there to trick anybody. Show bunt, put the ball down in a good spot, and run like God gave you the talent to do, and he still might get a base hit.
Another attempt appearing to bunt for a base hit, but he took it for ball 2. Runner goes, and Buxton rolls a single to left. Suzuki rounding second, on his way to third, and the flip throw not in time, and Buxton goes to second.
As soon as Buxton realized that the left fielder was going to throw the ball to Longoria at third base, Buxton never hesitated. He was off to the base, and that shows his speed. Just a nice break there, but a base hit. Buxton doing a great job of running the bases, and now the Twins have 2 guys on in scoring position with nobody out.
That has got to boost that young man's confidence. The manager putting an awful lot of confidence on his guy who's been swinging and missing an awful lot. He got a breaking ball down and away, and he knew he had to put the ball in play. Suzuki would have been a dead duck otherwise. And he rolled a base hit through the left side of the infield and ends up standing at second base. And now Nunez with the infield drawn in.
Twins fans are really getting a taste of the upside of the youth, really. Kepler having a decent night at the plate, getting his first RBI. Buxton with a couple hits.
Sacrifice fly.
Right.
Yeah.
An RBI, his last at bat, and a base hit here. I mean, it's exciting to watch.
Hard hit right at Longoria. No chance for Suzuki to advance. And Nunez is retired. If it's hit even a step or two to the right or left of Longoria, it's a 2-run single. Instead, 1 away, and now here's Mauer.
Evan Longoria, one of the baseball's better third basemen, and what I loved about what he just did, and for you young kids, get another look at this play. He did not panic. He watched the ball into his glove. It took a little funny hop. They're going to go ahead and intentionally walk Joe Mauer, and he just did not panic. He knew the base runner. He knew Nunez. He knew where the ball was. He knows his arm strength. He picked up the ball and had plenty of time to throw Nunez out there.
And so Dozier will come up with the bases loaded. homering his last time up.
Let's take another look at that play I was just talking about. Nunez hits the ball hard. The ball's just kept in front by Longoria. He checks the runner back to third, has plenty of time. Nunez very upset with the fact that he had a chance to drive in maybe 2 runs with that base hit. And Longoria was the difference maker there.
A different challenge for Dozier. He had the home run against the left-hander Moore after a long at bat. Just clearing the wall and left.
Well, he tied the game up with his last at bat, a home run, and we'll see now with bases loaded what he can do.
Takes strike 1. Twins in situations like this have, well, what's the best word? Been dreadful, awful with bases loaded situations. And a chance for Dozier to deliver a big hit here.
So what you're saying is it could get better, and that's what we're hoping for.
It can't get any worse.
Right.
And he's hit by a pitch. He'll take first base, and a run will come in. The Twins will take the lead, and Dozier ambling to first base.
Well, that ball got away from Ramiro. As you see, is trying to throw a fastball that just tailed up and in. And Dozier, one of those guys that, you know, he's fairly close to the plate. He loves to be able to pull the ball. Most pull hitters are right on top of the plate, but not much you could do if you get out of the way of that one.
And now Plouffe 0 for 3. And a chance to break the game open, at least for the time being. Fouled behind Butch Davis. 1 strike. Fan ended up, thanks to a carom with the baseball, and then he fell over backwards in the chair.
And she's saying, I cannot believe that I'm sitting next to you.
And a belt high strike, 0-2.
All right, here it is again, right? He saves her life, sort of. Honey, I just saved your life. And then he falls over.
2 strikes to Plouffe. And in the dirt, blocked by Casale.
Well, Trevor with a big opportunity to get in the hit parade here. Hitless in 2 at bats with a strikeout. Should be 0 for 3.
Maybe the fastest man in the league at third base. Buxton wouldn't take much to get him in. On the ground, Longoria will start an inning-ending double play. The Twins get 1 to retake the lead in the bottom of the 6th. Story of the game, and a game that's gone back and forth.
Yeah, it's been a seesaw battle. Eduardo Nunez getting us started early for the Twins with an inside the park home run. Evan Longoria gets a base hit in the second inning, driving in a run, and then Logan Morrison follows him with another base hit and an RBI. Max Kepler gets his first Major League RBI, driving in Robbie Grossman. Then Longoria again, ending the night for Phil Hughes with a 2-run home run. Brian Dozier puts the Twins back in the game with a tie game at that point, and with his home run, and then gets an RBI being hit by a pitch, and the Twins take the lead 5-4.
And now Ryan Pressly. After Taylor Rogers pitched well for 2 innings, 6 up, 6 down. Pressly will face the top of the Rays batting order with the Twins up a run. Pressly's numbers not what he would like. Chopper, foul ball. I want to ask you about something Ryan shared with me the other day. In his last few outings, he has gone from the third base side of the pitching rubber to the middle of the pitching rubber. And for those of us who don't know, and I don't know, I've never quite understood it, how much difference that can make. He feels much better now pitching from the middle of the rubber.
Well, it's all about angles, right? I mean, this is physics, and I don't know much about physics, but I know a little bit about angles. And he's throwing more strikes over the middle of the rubber than he would be. The angle would be better, especially for right-handed hitters.
That's what he said.
And when he's on the third base side, but he's given up a little bit of that angle to get more consistency with his strikes.
He said he feels now he's able to hit the 4 spot, that strike down and away to a right-handed batter better from the middle of the rubber than, now that's a breaking ball.
You can see he's right over the middle of the rubber right there.
It just seems like such a minor difference to someone who's never been out there.
It is a minor difference. It really isn't a major thing. Sometimes I think things like that are more psychological than reality.
Pressly falls down but makes the play.
He might be related to that guy in the stands right there, but either case, pitchers are the greatest athletes, says Bert. And you know, you do things that are unorthodox, but you still make the play. You can see his foot go out right there. Whoopsie. And yet look at that, huh? Inside of the runner, just the way you're supposed to. Easy play.
2 quick outs here in the 7th. Not because of that, but seeing the grass torn up, I want to commend Larry DeVito and the grounds crew for the incredible job they did turning this back into a baseball field after the Zach Brown concert on Saturday. You'd be hard pressed to even find any visual evidence that there was a big stage out there and you know, chairs on the field and everything. Of all the transitions, at least cosmetically, this looks like this has been the best job done after a big concert.
They're getting used to it.
There's a deep foul fly.
You guys were talking about the last homestand that Larry DeVito and the grounds crew here are the best in the business. I agree with that. They do a remarkable job, and you know, they had to probably change some of the grass out there, I'm sure, but what a place to play a game of baseball.
And apparently a great place to watch a concert, although they keep scheduling them when we're out of town for some reason. I'd like to see a concert here sometime.
Well, they might schedule one in the middle of the winter. A new band called Iceberg.
1-1 and a strike on the outside corner, and so far so good for Pressly. A couple of quick outs here, keeping in mind that Rogers had to get all the outs of the 5th inning, all the outs in the 6th. And so the bullpen is going to be asked to do a little bit more than hoped for tonight.
Longoria with 3 of the RBIs.
Oh, what a great pitch.
Yes, it was.
A veteran hitter frozen at the plate, a called 3rd strike, and an outstanding inning for Ryan Pressly. It's a great place to spend time with the people who are important to you. Groups are eligible for discounts on tickets, and per ticket fees are eliminated. So organize your group of 25 plus today. Learn more by visiting twinsbaseball.com/groups or call 800-33-TWINS and ask about a Twins Target Field group outing. Bottom of the 7th, Twins looking to add runs on here. Robbie Grossman has 2 more hits tonight. And facing Xavier Cedeno, the new Tampa Bay pitcher.
His 20th appearance for the Rays. 6 walks and 16 strikeouts.
And Grossman bunted it foul, trying to drop one in front of Longoria.
You don't trick Evan Longoria very often. He was playing back, and that's why Grossman maybe just making him aware of it. Now he's going to go a step even further.
And now he chops a 2-hopper in front of Longoria. Across the diamond, 1 away. That brings up Park. Mentioned in Park's first at bat that Paul Molitor thought that, maybe all he needed was a 2-hit game or 2 to restore his confidence. He's reached all 3 times here tonight. A booming double off the center field fence in the 2nd. He walked and scored in the 4th, and then another single in the 5th.
Well, all those plate appearances came off the starter Matt Moore, who, like Phil Hughes, will not factor in the decision in this game.
And again, they work him over inside. Ball 1.
They also have the shift on the left side.
Yep.
First baseman's play well off the line, almost in the hole between first and second.
Takes a strike. I got a vibe here. I'm going to make a call. I think he's going to hit one out. One and 2.
Park's had all 4 at bats now off left-handers.
In the dirt, 2 and 2. You ever seen a batter, and some of it is out of necessity because the dugouts are so close. You saw Kepler, he's on the grass. Have you ever seen an on-deck batter so close to home plate? He's not.
That's scary, actually.
It is. What would you say? Is that 30 feet?
Yeah, they put screens up over the dugouts to help protect the fans. He's, my goodness. I mean, that's scary.
2 and 2. And a tapper foul.
I suppose the closer a on-deck hitter gets to the batter's box, the better look he has at the pitcher, but there's got to be a safety factor in there too. I mean, you would think that maybe somebody from the dugout would be saying, hey, come on back here a little bit.
Driven deep to the right field corner. A 3-hit night for Park. He'll try for second, and Geyer's throw is not in time. Park has reached all 4 times, and he has hits in all 3 directions tonight.
Good sign, good night for Byung-Ho Park. Paul Molitor, we were just talking about hoping that he might get reignited by having a good night at the plate, and he's done that 3 out of 4 times, reaching base via the hit and once via the walk.
Fox Tracks presented by Carrier. Hits coming 1 at a time were hard to come by, but now 3 in a game for the first time. And here's Kepler, an RBI double, a 1 for 3 night. Base hit right field. Park to third. He'll be waved around, and Kepler has driven in his first 2 big league runs.
Another great swing and a great at-bat from Max Kepler. He gets a hanging breaking ball, kind of an off-speed pitch, and his timing couldn't have been better. He anticipated that ball being a little off-speed and did not miss it. That's another key for a lot of the Twins hitters this year, is getting the hittable pitch and not missing it.
Well, they struck him out with a breaking ball in his prior at-bat, and he might have been looking for one this time.
That's just it. You know, you go to the well too many times and hitters start paying attention, and Max Kepler does a great job right there of getting his second RBI of the game.
Big insurance run for the Twins, and we'll see if they can add some more here. Suzuki singled and scored his last time up. Up and away, ball one. Paul Molitor said of Kepler again the other day when the Twins called him up that one thing they don't concern themselves with him is his ability to hang in there and do okay against left-handers in the minor leagues. Granted, it's the minor leagues, but he's shown no hesitancy or inability to hit left-handers. And here tonight against Moore, a rocket for a double, and then he, against a different left-handed pitcher, hooks a curveball for a single.
That's exciting stuff for me to see a young guy come up, and you know they believe in Max Kepler, and he does a great job defensively, which is another plus for the Twins to have a right fielder that is used to playing right field and can do a great job out there.
1-1 to Suzuki.
I think it's a big plus for the Twins. Not necessarily anything against Danny Santana or Miguel Sano, both coming up with hamstring injuries here in the last week, but when you got Buxton Kepler out there, you've added to your outfield defense.
1-1. To left, hit hard, and a sinking line drive in front of Dickerson. So 3 straight hits here after the first out of the 7th inning. And that'll bring up Buxton.
13 hits now for the Twins. Now this top copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent of the Minnesota Twins.
Cash looking on. Rays have lost 10 of their last 12. Brandon Kintzler warming up. He might get the 8th inning. Now Buxton's had a good night at the plate. 1 for 2, a single and a sacrifice fly, and he takes strike 1. It wasn't just the hit, it was the situation that the manager put the hitter in. Suzuki took off from first base. So you're pretty much telling Buxton, you got to put this ball in play. And it was a breaking ball, down and away, and he hooked a single through the hole on the left side. I don't know that anybody, including Miguel Sano or Byung-Ho Park, have been more contact challenged than Buxton. He came into the game having struck out in more than half of his at-bats. The manager showed some confidence in him. Buxton rewarded the manager.
Well, it's partly in the ability to recognize the pitch and to see the ball right to point of contact. I think so many times young hitters especially, they get so excited about a situation and they overswing or they do something to take their eye off the ball right before point of contact. And again, the great hitters, they will track the ball all the way to where that baseball bat barrels up the baseball.
0-2 to Buxton. Got a piece to keep the at-bat alive. Buxton's got to get a hit here just for, you know, the pride of the USA. And so far he's been upstaged by a baseball player from Germany and another one from South Korea. Oh, 0-2 again. He taps it foul.
I'm not really sure if when they sent Byron Buxton back down that the Twins ever anticipated that he'd be called back up this quickly, but he went down and took care of business at the AAA level, put himself in a great position to be recalled if something would happen, and that's what did happen. Danny Santana came up lame with a hamstring injury, and Buxton's back up here, and it's going to be a work in progress. It's going to take him a while, but if this guy ever does come into the potential that everybody anticipates he'll have, it's going to be an exciting pitcher or hitter to watch. Good breaking ball right there by Cedeno out of the strike zone. Buxton kind of chasing down low.
And now Nunez, who started the game with an inside the park home run, first ever for a Twins player here at Target Field. Kepler's at second, Suzuki's at first. Half swing. Ball one. And that hit the outside corner, 1-1. Cleveland beat Kansas City 5-4. Two teams fighting for the top of the division. White Sox there as well.
Do you think there's going to be a runaway in the Central?
Snap bat, the bouncer to Longoria. Flips to second. That takes care of the Twins in the seventh. And they come up with one more run in the seventh. Stretch of 17 games out of 20 to be played here. Absolutely perfect night here tonight. And so far the scoreboard's looking pretty good. Twins up a couple, and Nolasco will hope to give the Twins a good start like he did in his last start in Seattle. Brandon Kintzler come into the ball game to try to keep the bullpen record perfect so far here tonight.
Well, he's done a good job since joining the major league club here. This is his 11th game. Very good ERA out of the bullpen. 8 walks and only 8 strikeouts and only 1 walk. So he'll be asked to get an inning here at least.
Middle of the Rays lineup, starting with Logan Morrison and Souza and Dickerson. On the outside corner. Again, Phil Hughes struggled with his control. Pitches down the middle of the plate, and since the bullpen has taken over, it's been left, right, up, down, in and out. I mean, they've done what Phil Hughes tried to do and only done it more successfully. There's that chopper, and Kinsler will have to play. Underhanding it to Mauer, one away. This weekend, a full lineup of Twins baseball for you on Fox Sports North and FS1. Tomorrow night, the Twins and Rays here on Fox Sports North, as Anthony said a few moments ago, starting at 6:30. Then Saturday, the action moves to FS1 for Game 2 of the matchup with Tampa, beginning at 2:30 p.m. Then the series wraps up Sunday back here on Fox Sports North at 12:30. One quick out, and so far the bullpen has gone 10 for 10 in terms of retiring batters. Souza's 0 for 3 on the night. And again, right on the outside corner.
It's amazing how we're talking a matter of inches. The difference between a quality pitch and a mistake pitch is. But that's, at this level, that's what this game's all about.
And you get a breaking ball and a swing and a miss on what looked to be a fastball in the same spot as the first pitch.
Yeah, just a little bit off the plate, but you know that the hitter is probably going to be aggressive there, so you make sure you miss. If you're going to miss away, not over the heart of the plate. You're going to come back in here. This is the really difference-making pitch. I love that. The old jackknife.
And
he hit it.
Well,
I don't
got
love
his
that,
jersey. The ball had some run on it, and Souza's uniform was hit by the pitch. And so that breaks the perfect streak set up by the relievers here tonight.
You see Kurt Suzuki trying to set up for a fastball. The ball did run, and it must have just, I don't know, barely snipped the stripe there on his jersey. Certainly didn't put any mark on him.
You're going to hit somebody.
Yeah, put a mark on him.
Now don't send your nasty texts.
That was Dick
tweets.
Bremer.
No,
I
just set you up. I just set you up because I knew what you really wanted to say. Ball one. Here's Dickerson. He's 0 for 3.
It's kind of like home runs, you know, the ones that hit the top of the wall in the left field corner right there on the foul pole. You know, those shouldn't count, but they do. It's got to start somewhere, and that's a starting point. Well, balls that get a jersey or top of the shoelace.
And there's one on the outside corner, 1-1. Kinsler essentially filling the role that Casey Fien held for a number of years and held it very well. Casey was promoted several days ago to the Dodgers. Dana Evelyn warming up. 2-1.
Casey Fien was a great guy. Everybody pulled for him. I think he was a guy that gave his 100% every time he went out there, and we're all pulling that he does well for his new club, the Dodgers.
Two and one to Dickerson. Again, what you talked about before is a good point. I think managers would prefer to have power spread throughout the lineup because of situations like this. Earlier tonight, Longoria became the first Rays player to hit double digits in home runs, but Dickerson's next home run will be his 10th. Up and away now, 3-1.
Well, the Twins kind of spread it out themselves. Park and Mauer and Sano. Nunez with 5. Dozier with 6 now. They just don't have as many.
Ground ball could be 2.
That'll work.
On the bag, throw across, double play. Good inning by Kinsler as he completes an inning and faces just 3 men.
come to bat in the bottom of the 8th. Stay with us directly after the game for Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink. We'll take a look at how the Twins brought the big boy bats out tonight. 13 hits as they come to bat here in the 8th. We'll break down the offense that's been on display here this evening. We'll also take a look at the young outfield who's been shining out there with the leather, and here, like a lot of players, in the batter's box. We'll also bring you inside the clubhouse and let you hear from the manager, Paul Molitor, as the Twins look to start this long homestand, guys, the right way.
Well, wouldn't that be nice? There have been so many struggles for this team this year. They lead by a couple going now to the bottom of the 8th inning. Dana Eveland in. He is the 3rd relief pitcher.
See the numbers for Eveland. He's also pitched his fair share out of the bullpen for the Rays.
And Mauer takes strike 1. Earlier we were talking about the Twins and how they've struggled against lefties. Came into the game hitting just .219. That batting average should go up today with 13 hits, most of them against left-handed pitching. And we talked about the right-handed batters that have struggled against lefties. And you wouldn't think that would be the case, but Suzuki hitting .136, Park .120. And we were talking about the right-handed batters, but it's important, I think, to point out Mauer coming into the game hitting .275 against lefties. I think for any hitter, particularly lefties, you would look for signs of age when left-handers struggle against left-handed pitching, and Joe's not the home run hitter he was a few years ago, but he still handles left-handers very, very well. As a tapper, that's going to be a tough play. Eveland spins and fires, and Mauer gets an infield hit.
Well, Joe's first hit of the night. Now Trevor Plouffe, the only Twins hitter that remains hitless, and he'll have another chance. Back to your point about Joe Mauer, he's always kept his shoulder in. I think that's the first indicator of what happens when a hitter tries to speed up their bat and compensate, and that all starts with their front shoulder. Joe's never really shown any indication that he's fooled or, you know, any way intimidated by a left-hander, whether it be a breaking ball or a fastball. So not the prettiest swing right there, but a Joe Mauer base hit nonetheless.
Now Dozier, who has driven in 2 runs today, one with a home run that tied the game in the 5th, one with the bases loaded, and 1 out in the 6th. He got hit in the arm by a pitch and got credit for another run batted in. Swing and a miss. 0-2.
I was just talking about Buxton, how that last split second of keeping your eye on the ball to point of contact, I could just tell from this distance that Brian Dozier pulled off a little bit. His head was off the baseball when that barrel of the bat would have hit the ball.
And that's a great attempt by Casale.
That was
Dozier hit that right above his hands. A weak little pop-up toward the third base coach's box, and Casale nearly made a great play.
That's where, when you're a pitcher, you stand over him, you pick up his helmet, you give him a big hug. I mean, look at this effort right here. He's like a cat out of the box and dives for the ball, trying to get you an out. God, I love that. Loved it even more if he would have caught it. But we're pulling for the Twins here, aren't we?
2 strikes. And a grounder toward the hole, picked up by Longoria. Gets the force at second. What a play. Sprawled out in the dirt, and he was able to get enough on the throw to get Mauer at second base, 1 away.
Again, knowing his internal motor, how fast he has to go. Longoria breaks to his left. This ball actually was eating the grass a little bit more than I thought it was, but Longoria spreads out, bobbles the ball again. You get to see it here better in slow motion. It hits the heel of his glove. The ball's right in front of him. He keeps his eye on the ball, picks it up, and still has time to force Joe at second base.
Now Plouffe drills a solid single to left. Dozier will round second on his way to third, and the throw to the shortstop, the cutoff man, and the Twins threatening to add another run or 2 here in the 8th inning. They found out in the Oakland series how debilitating it can be when the other guys score. And it might be just one run, but when they score in every inning, the Twins got 2 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th, 1 in the 7th here tonight, and now another threat in the 8th.
And with that hit, Trevor Plouffe is the last Twin hitter to get on the hit parade. Every Twin now has got at least 1 hit in this game. And you're absolutely right. That's consistency. That's what a manager, hitting coach, everybody likes. Even the pitchers. We can rest for a couple runs every inning. You guys want to score? Go ahead. We'll take a little breather.
Here's Grossman looking for a fly ball deep enough to get Dozier in from 3rd. You know what it tells you is, if you're the hitting coach or the manager, for as long as you have something like that going, it makes no difference where an inning starts in the lineup. You're a threat to score.
Absolutely. And it shows that every inning everybody's grinding. They're not giving away at bats. They're putting the ball in play.
Could be a double play. And it is. Another inning-ending double play wraps up the 8th. The Twins don't score, but Kevin Jepsen will have a save opportunity when we come back. Nunez with a leadoff inside the park home run. Max Kepler driving in his first 2 big league runs. And Brian Dozier with a couple of runs batted in, including a home run. Gung Ho Park with a 3-hit game. Twins have spread out the prosperity in terms of hits tonight. And now what they'd like to see more than anything else is a quick, clean 1, 2, 3 inning from their closer.
Well, everybody out of the pen has had very clean, quick innings. Taylor Rogers will be the Twins pitcher of record if Kevin Jepsen can pick up a save right here. Rogers pitched 2 innings of 1-2-3 ball. Presley a 1-2-3 inning, and Kinsler, even though he hit a batter, he only faced 3 guys. So Kevin Jepsen going to take a crack at the bottom of the order. 7, 8, 9 hitters for Tampa here.
And the leadoff man is Matuk. High fly right center field. Buxton under. So's Kepler. And the right fielder gives way to the center fielder. 1 away on 1 pitch. Time now for What's Next, brought to you by CenturyLink. Jake Odorizzi has been really good for the Rays, and Ricky Nolasco hopes to make it back-to-back strong starts for the Twins.
Yeah, hopefully the momentum thing will start swinging in the Twins' favor. They're playing a team that right now it looks like the Twins can beat, and they need to take advantage of that. I got it
back, and just beneath us. Gibson throwing strikes. And another foul ball.
Well, he's got 2 runs to work with. You want him to come in and get ahead of hitters. He's been banged up a little bit by throwing too many hittable pitches early in counts, but you know that's what you want out of a guy, is be aggressive. You got a lead to work with. Go after him.
And that landed about 3 feet in front of the plate. I'm sure Jepson has tried everything to regain the command that he had of his breaking ball last year when he emerged as one of the more reliable closers in all of baseball. After Glenn Perkins went down, he just hasn't been able to find it.
Well, it's all about release point and where your body is. Body control. It's no different from pitching and hitting.
Half swing, and now 2-2.
And that breaking ball for Kevin Jepson is certainly a field pitch. And that's what makes it tough, because you have to have, in order to have good memory, you've got to throw the pitch over and over and over to have that reflex kick in, so you know where that release point is.
2-2. Steve Pearce is in the on deck circle. He'll hit for Casale. Fly ball hit almost to the same spot. Kepler this time will make the play. 2 down.
That was a fastball hitting situation. The hitter knew it, Motter knew it, but the pitch was not dead center. You see where the glove is, and the ball was maybe an inch high from where Suzuki set his glove, and the result was everything you'd want.
So far, nearly 5 innings of perfect relief. 14 up, 14 down, no hits. There was a hit batter, but then an ensuing double play. And now here is Steve Pearce. Pearce, as we said, has been swinging the bat well, and he sends a ground ball base hit to left on the first pitch. Had some elbow issues, and so they're kind of nursing him along, but a pinch hit here keeping the game alive for Brandon Guyer. First hit allowed by the bullpen, and it comes with the Rays down to their last out. Guyer is 0 for 4. 3 fly ball outs and a strikeout. The Twins outfield stepping back a step or two to try to eliminate the possibility now of a double. Fastball missing low.
The one thing that happens, and in this case we're talking about Kevin Jepson, is when you show the other team you can't locate your secondary pitch, they can start sitting on a fastball because they know that's the only one you can throw for a strike. So that's what's making it hard for Kevin.
Bouncer to short with the runner going. Nunez rifles his throw across, and the Twins start this homestand with a win.
Well played game by the Twins. Like you mentioned, Dick, a lot of runs scored in various innings. Everybody got in on the hit parade, and the bullpen did a fantastic job in their call from the duty. 4 guys pitched, and all 4 of them did a great job. So good win for the Twins.
Big hits from Kepler, Hart, Dozier, Nunez, so on and so forth. Tom Hanneman, perfect way for this homestand to start.
Dick, you're right. Everybody got into the act tonight for the Twins, who hand the Rays a season-high 5th consecutive loss. Up next on Twins Live, we'll talk about the bats breaking out tonight, the young outfield shining for the Twins. We'll hear from Paul Molitor and look ahead to Game 2.